Welcome to Cake Break. You are our first ever guest on the podcast, and we have sent you some goodies in the post this morning through the snow. So first up, I thought you could maybe tell us what cakes you were most looking forward to that you've got there sitting in front of you.
Well, the ones that I was really excited about was the little froggies, because they're just so jolly. Like, I love a fondant fancy, like most of the time, but they're little faces. Like, we have these usually in the shop that's our post office. I just got like cake all over my laptop there. And it's, yeah, they haven't had any in recently, and we were just like, right, this is my opportunity to get some frog fancies.
Love it.
So yeah, I'm really excited about the little frogs. And then the mini like fudge donuts with all the cream and stuff in them as well. Like, they are my other thing.
Would you like to try a frog first then? Would you like to?
I think I'm going to go for a frog, if that's okay, because they've been sitting here since they arrived this morning. Like, the cake fairy arrived at our door through the snow. It was quite a magical experience. I'm gonna have to save these frogs for 3:30 today, and I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. It's quite hard to choose though, because like their little faces, which one am I gonna sacrifice?
A bit cruel. Like, they're so cute, and then it just feels quite cruel to be eating one. When we make them, we've got like a tray of 50 of them staring at you, and you pipe the little eyes on them, and they're all just looking at you, and it's like, I'd say it's 50-50 cute and creepy.
It's the fact that they sort of look a bit gormless. That's why I love them so much. They're so good. Oh, I feel terrible. Tell me this is okay.
Straight down the middle, between the eyes.
Look at that.
Oh, the wee pop of pink. Oh, that's good. I managed to send you a whole parcel of cakes and didn't think to get myself any.
See, that's the next thing they're going to have to invent for Zoom meetings, is like cake and snack teleportation.
That would be the dream.
I know. Right, okay. Look, I've got such a sweet tooth. I know some people find fondant fancy a bit overly sweet, but I just love the combination of the fondant and then the pink stuff. And I don't know what it is. Pink mallow?
Super.
Is it mallow?
Yeah.
So good. I've got an eyeball here.
I feel like they're so retro as well, the frogs.
That's what I love about them. It's a nostalgia factor. They've just been the same forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I want that feeling of eating a frog fancy when I was like 5.
Beautiful.
So good.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, because you studied in Dundee. Do you have any fond memories of trips to the bakers when you were there studying?
So I used to live like up, it's called the West End in Dundee. It was like up the Perth Road. And it wasn't really until I moved into the town, I lived on Commercial Street and started working at one of the shops in the Overgate, that I really started going to the bakery often, like going on lunch break. And I loved, like, they did like an iron brew cake at one point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like if you've got a sweet tooth, like that is, I love the iron brew cake. It's just so fluorescent. I think I've got something about bright coloured cake.
So yeah, it was so orange. It had like bright orange icing, and then a sort of iron brew-esque logo on the top. It was,
yeah, there definitely was some sort of like little like logo that either looked like a can or like said something like along the lines that it was iron brew inspired. But yeah, that I love them. Like, it's been a long time since I like moved away from Dundee in 2014.
right.
So that's quite a while now. Yeah, so it's been a while.
You are known for biscuits, so making your biscuit cushions. I can see a nice biscuit mug there. I wondered if you had a favorite cake of all time, and also if you had a favorite biscuit of all time.
It does depend on your mood, doesn't it? Like, sometimes it's like, I am in the mood for this, and this is my current favorite. But oh, jings. I think in general, for me, biscuits that have got some sort of chocolate either in them or on them, I like something with chocolate on it because it means if you dip it, you get that melty chocolate. So, see, just like a classic chocolate digestive. I know that people will think that's really boring, but it's like a go-to biscuit. You can eat it either without it being dunked, or sometimes you get the ones with like the caramel in them or chocolate chips. They're pretty good. A classic chocolate digestive, I think you can't go wrong. And a favourite cake, I don't know. I mean, I do love a fondant fancy. Like, they are excellent. But these cream cakes are winking at me now, and like, they're like, why are you neglecting us? Are you sure we're not your favourite? I don't know. Again, like, I love chocolate, so like anything like chocolatey. I'm excited to try these coffee ones, though. I've never had them.
After our fudge donut, that's our most popular cake. Second.
Oh, really? So is it coffee inside as well?
Cream, yeah, fresh cream with coffee.
Oh my God, right, okay. That sounds pretty good.
And do you ever, so I grew up in a bakery growing up in the family business, so I would choose a cheese course over pudding because I'm just surrounded by cakes all day. And I wondered whether you ever just wouldn't have a biscuit. Like, do you ever feel a bit sick of them, seeing them all day, every day?
Yeah, I think because I do see them every day, it's sometimes, there's times where I'm more into crisps.
Yeah.
Like, I do like crisps in the evening if I'm like sitting on the couch, of like have a wee bowl of crisps.
I'm exactly like that.
We drink with some ice in it. It's quite good. But I do have a really sweet tooth, and like if I could, I think I would just eat cake for breakfast.
Yeah.
Or biscuits. Do you remember when they came out with it was like a breakfast biscuit? It was
Are you a fan?
I did quite like them. But it was basically just like a digestive, wasn't it? Trying the coffee tower.
Yep.
It's pretty epic, I have to say.
So back in the day, my granddad, when he ran the business, he had a pilot's license and he had a plane. He was living the dream. He would fly around Europe to like try other bakers, and he would import chocolate from Belgium. So that's where we still get our chocolate from. But my grandma Audrey tried a choux pastry with coffee cream on one of their holidays and said to her husband, my granddad, you have to make one of these when you get back. So she brought back the coffee tower idea.
Oh my God, that is such a cool story.
Yeah.
And like, well done for your granddad inventing the best job ever.
Yeah. So
I like flying my plane. I like eating cake. How can I combine these two things I really like? So I think traveling and like experimenting is the way that like all creativity, well, for me, it's how creativity starts, I think.
Well, that leads on quite nicely because I was going to ask you how lockdown has been.
How long has it been again now?
So like, I imagine you worked from home already before this, so there hasn't been a huge change. But when we were in the first lockdown, we couldn't bag flour fast enough because the world decided they needed to learn to bake in the last lockdown. So did you take up any hobbies? Did you bake for yourself?
Do you know, I did not do any baking at all. Like, I ate a lot of cake that I bought from anywhere I could buy cake from, but I think I might have been the only person not baking. So I think the other thing that people were doing aside from baking was online shopping, which meant that I became ridiculously busy and I had no idea that it was coming, basically. So I was kind of swamped. And usually my mum comes in and helps in here with like packing orders and that kind of thing. But obviously we couldn't do that. So it was basically just me and my husband packing all the orders. So like, I feel like the first lockdown, last year's lockdown, sort of from March onwards, was just like a blur of work.
Yeah.
And we're really grateful to have the work because there's a lot of folk who's like everything in hospitality and that kind of thing was just non-existent at that point. So yeah, there's been a lot of work But I feel like I've gotten better with making time for myself this time round. I know that a lot of folk that work from home at the moment, but maybe didn't before, are finding that whole work-life thing quite tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been making sure I've got an alarm set on my phone to say this is the time that you're going to finish, and after that you're not going to answer any more emails or do anything to do with work, and that's been quite helpful, I think. Yeah.
Tough mix. So you've also, as well as your Nikki McWilliams store for like homewares, you've got like stationery is like a side sort of store.
Yeah.
Did you notice that ramped up when everyone was at home?
It did, yeah. It was like everyone wanted biscuit-shaped cushions to make their home look cool and cozy, and then everyone was either homeschooling or working from home, so all of the stationery started like really picking up. So yeah, that got really busy as well. I literally thought, right, we're just going to plod along, sort of same as last year. We might get slightly busier at Christmas. I had no idea what was coming. But it was really great to have a job that I really enjoyed and could just throw myself into, like stationery, like alongside like biscuits and like nostalgic things. Stationery is like my other thing that I'm just like obsessed with. I don't know about you. I love a good pencil case.
My sister loves stationery, so yeah, she can totally appreciate that. And yeah, it's just really interesting, like you saying taking the time for yourself, and that's kind of part of this podcast. I thought, well, it would be quite nice to just invite people to sit down and like force them to have a cup of tea and a little sit down and a cake. It's important, I think.
Like giving yourself permission to say, I am not going to be working during this point in time. Like, this is a time for me. I'm not going to be scrolling through my phone. I'm not just going to be checking emails just to see if anybody's made a query about anything. Yeah, and I think there's so much like media to consume right now. Like, we've got news everywhere, and it is nice just to say, I'm not going to look at that for a bit. I'm not going to work. I'm just going to give myself time to do something that I enjoy, and if that's eating cake, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I think me and you are probably the only ones that weren't baking the last lockdown.
Oh, really? You didn't do any baking either?
No, like I don't really have a need to bake because I can just steal cakes from the bakery. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I will do it sometimes, like in a sort of therapeutic way. I imagine that's probably why it was so busy last time, because people needed to they were at home all day, so it was a nice way to sort of de-stress. Do you want to try one more cake before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think. Do you know these ones with like the greeny yellow icing on them?
That's a lemon swish. Yeah.
Yeah, a lemon what did you say?
Wish.
A lemon swish. I mean, I need to try one of these. It looks like there's lemon curd on them. Is that right?
And fresh cream.
Ooh. Right, I'm just gonna like properly. Yeah, that did not work. See, I just don't want to put the whole thing in my face, and then I'm going to end up with it all over me on something that's been recorded for the internet.
Yeah.
I've totally ruined this one now, I think. Right, it's still going to taste good, isn't it?
It's perfect, I reckon still.
That is really, really nice. The lemon curd's so good.
Is it nice and sweet?
It's really sweet, yeah. Would you think my cats could eat this cream?
I wouldn't advise it.
It's probably got too much sugar in it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit's not going to hurt. Obviously, we've all been locked down with whoever we live with, and I just wondered, after all this craziness is over, who is the first person you want to meet up with to have some cake in real life?
Do you know, probably my mum, because we usually see each other every single day because we work together. We've been working together via FaceTime for like the last year. So, well, I think I would love to share these cakes with her. I might like put some on our doorstep and run away, but we've not actually like been in the same room together having a tea break for a year now, so probably my mum.
Do you meet up outside ever and go for walks and stuff?
When we were allowed to, we did, but yeah, just right now, because it's like the 1-on-1 rule or whatever it was last time I checked, and she's probably quite close to getting her vaccine now, so it's going to be so strange though. I think like it's going to take everyone a while to adjust to being around real people again. Yeah, so strange. It's definitely we're all going to need to like just shoehorn ourselves back in slowly, but like I think it's going to be quite a regimented regime of I'm going to have to go out for coffee and cake like maybe 3 times a week just to make sure that I'm learning again. I know how to. I'm going to need to really train myself to be like a member of society again.
Yeah, like put on proper clothes for leaving the house. And
yeah. Well, I look quite presentable, but I am definitely wearing trackies.
Love it. Like jammy bottoms are still on.
Yeah, I've definitely got my slippers on.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. I just wondered one last thing, if apart from finding a way to eat all of these cakes, if you've got anything exciting coming up.
I wish I could say that I'd made loads of plans. But I've really not made any plans at all. I suppose I'm excited to get all of the sample sale orders shipped. We had our big annual sample sale at the end of January where we sell everything that's got like a tiny like print flaw or something like that. And with loads and loads of orders, but of course it's just been me packing them up by myself. It's taken ages. So I'm excited to get everyone's orders shipped. And then as soon as that's done, I've like given myself like a little bit of design time. So I'm hoping to design some new enamel mugs. Like that's something that's on my list, because these ones, like I designed them years ago and they're on this sort of like dark red colored mug. But I've got like these mustard and pink and like minty colored mugs that I want to do some like new designs on. So that's something that hopefully I'll be able to get done. But it's just one of those situations, like I don't want to promise myself that I'm going to do loads and loads of different tasks and say I'm definitely going to get things designed, because you just don't know. Like our print factory could shut down next week and not take any more orders. So yeah, I think I'm taking things like a week at a time right now. If I can get some mugs designed next month, I'm golden.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me and for sending all of this cake. Like, I'm excited to eat the rest of it.